Well, we get to go fishing, but it happens to be one of the worst days of the year so far with the weather. But on the good note, nobody, well, one boat here, and doesn't, or two, I guess. They don't even look like fishermen. Or there's one in a truck. So not bad, but then again, it's only 30 something degrees, and then there's a wind. So this is Table Rock. This could be very interesting, but I wanted to come out here and actually fish, but we'll see how long I can last here. And as on cue, every time I show up to a boat ramp, I gotta pee. So, peace. Okay, so we just got back from Table Rock, and the weather was pretty insane. I've been in worse, but it was like 30 degrees with some wind chill. So we're getting into winter time here in the Ozarks, which is where I'm at the moment. But this is more since my cameras went down. The cold really zapped the batteries out of my phone and in my cameras. So I didn't get a whole lot of footage, and some of the footage I got of just get the fish in, and it was just a miserable day trying to tie knots and whatnot. But the fishing is pretty excellent. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, you go out there, there's hardly anybody there, and the fishing is good. Right now, the fish at Table Rock, and there's usually a bifurcation in the winter and lakes like this, so there'd be like a deep population, and then there's some that are residuals, really shallow, which I mean shallow in a clear lake like this. You know, we're talking 15 feet and shallower. But here's how I did it. You know, mainly when you come down here to Table Rock, I want to keep this short too so you can see some of the footage, but when you come down here, you know, you're throwing those suspending jerks, and a lot of guys are rip baits or whatnot. But a lot of guys are throwing Alabama rigs, which I don't do, so we're not going to even talk about those. But that is a viable technique if you come down here to fish. But I don't particularly like throwing that, so I don't. But you know, Vision 110s, you know, Spro mix sticks and stuff like that are good, and jigs are always good. But I didn't catch anything off those when I was there. I think a lot of people fish it, so I'm going to show you a couple of things that I threw, and I was able to probably pull out probably a total maybe of almost 15 pounds of fish, which you only get to see a couple of fish I caught because of the camera issues. But I'll show you what I did get them on, and my biggest fish here came off this dude, which I love these baits. This is a Realis M65 11 Alpha and a smoky bone, which is an awesome bait. This bait right here, I'm throwing it on. This is 8-pound test fluorocarbon. I was getting it down. I could see it on my live site, which is another aspect of, you know, that real-time sonar, is being able to see what your lure is actually attaining in the depth. So I was getting this little guy here down to 10 to 14 feet on, and like I said, this is 8-pound fluorocarbon. And like I said, I could see it on the live site, and I was pulling it through there, which is pretty remarkable for such a small bait. I don't even know, but I could see it on the live side. I was pulling it on there. Anyway, I pulled a real nice largemouth off of there. When I found them with that, which is, you know, a couple times I was only out there for a few hours, instead of throwing a drop shot or something, which they see all the time, I actually was throwing this little doggy right here. And it is a Nako rig with a little Gamakatsu Nako rig hook. That's a robo worm. That's what you'd throw on a drop shot. And then a little 16th ounce weight, and I could see them stacked up there. You know, after I hit them with the crank, I'd go back through, and I could actually see some fish sitting on the deck, or, you know, on the bottom there, and throw that Nako rig, and bam, I had some. I lost quite a few off of it. But okay, so at the end of the day, what I found, you know, I started seeing these, you know, certain rocks, and it's a certain type of rock on Table Rock that seems to hold a lot of fish. If you talk to some of the guys that fish it a lot, they'll tell you the same thing, that there's a certain type of rock that holds fish. It seems like at certain times of the year, they seem to just love this type of rock, and you'll see it in some of the video. But when you hit that type of rock, and then with some timber, it was dynamite. But I'd go through there after I hit them with the crank and then with the Nako, and then I'd come back to some of these spots, and I'd actually throw this little thing, and I've talked about it in some of my other videos, and it's this little blade bait right here. This one just happens to be the new Megabass, or I guess it's not really new anymore, but it's the Megabass Dyna Response. And I was throwing my Strike Pro, but it seemed like this Dyna Response was getting a lot more hits, some real nice spots with this. And the only thing I'd suggest on these is just check your hooks. I lost quite a few just from that, and then you switch to like a Gamakatsu or something, and it seemed to like keep him pinned a little bit more. But hey, man, I was getting bit, and I caught a lot of fish doing that. I mean, you'd be ripping it, and boom, those big spots would grab it right out of the trees. Of course, you'll lose some of those. That's just what it is. But here, anyway, check out the. Go ahead and like and subscribe this, and check the footage out what I got, and we'll talk to you later. Whew. Finally got one. Whew. And I barely got him. Set the camera. Yeah. Here we go. Check out this bad little dude. Ooh, easy now. Not bad, right? Finally. Ooh, it's heavy. It's a heavy fish. Beautiful fish. Camera jacks up, but finally get a hold of one. And she's a nice one. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Look how beautiful that fish is. But what I was doing, got the old Realis smoky bone, one of my favorite colors, and just bouncing it off these rocks. Finally found something. We're gonna let this dude go if I can get something rocking here. I want to get a good picture of him under the water. Oh, there you go, buddy. Smash on this and get one hooked. Just been smashing. Oh, sweet dear, sweet Mary and Joseph. He grabbed it. He grabbed the tail. I'm almost positive. I can just feel a flutter just for a second. I had one on right over there, and had him on for, I thought it was a stick, or I got snagged, and he just fluttered off and then popped right off. Funny, they must be on the bottom because I can't really get them on live side or anything else. I'll see one every once in a while. So I got one on the crank, and then I came back around with the Neko and had two, and then that bite. But I was jacking around another time, and then all of a sudden I pull up and there's one on. And totally didn't get a good hook set on him, and he got away. Fish is on one. Oh, he took my worm. He took my worm. Ooh, nice little spot. Hitting them. You out of your mind? Oh my god, guys. Whew. Tying a knot. in sub-freezing temperatures is not fun. But yeah, here we are. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Just let this knot go through. Please. I got the third loop. Can we get a fourth? Get her all nice and juicy for me. Woo! Look at that spot. Beautiful. I've lost so many damn fish. Finally, I got them. But see how I'm getting them? I mean, I'm getting them right on top of the mouth, but I pulled off one that was bigger than this thing. It's getting pretty good around here, but man, the weather sucks. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Just a real nice spot. I've lost a couple that are bigger than this one, but finally got about a 2.5 pounder. Real nice spot. Get back down there with them big old boys, let them know I'm coming.